it, it's not our problem, that we have to see something wrong. And I couldn't find anything wrong. And I did challenge everybody else in the room, please show me what's wrong. There was nothing, there was no errors that I could find, and I had to deny the audit. And that's the way the onus is on us as a council. So it would have been easier. Probably none of this would have happened. I mean, I was challenged in the paper today, you know, that it's stupid we didn't send them to audit. We can't do that unless we find something wrong, and I looked everywhere to find it. I did the same thing with the mayor's audit as well. I phoned or visited everybody on his list of people who he bought goods or services from. The same thing. And I felt that was what we were supposed to do. Our due diligence to check this. If we're supposed to make a decision on whether something's wrong, then we should look for it. And that's what I did. And I spent 3 days doing it. But there was no errors. He was under, and I myself had an ad in his publication. So did the mayor. Nobody questioned that item on the mayor's, the cost of a publication or part of a page in his publication. Nobody questioned that when the mayor's audit came up. But they did question it when his came up. And I will tell you, the thing that's the oddest thing to me about the audit was Ken Otzes and his friend showed up at the clerk's office the very first day in January. 3 months before his papers were handed in, they had prejudged that he was over, that there were errors. And we didn't have to hand in our papers till April. But they were there the first week of January at the clerk's office waiting to do this. December 24th, my family and I were sitting at home. A lady phoned in the Rick Smith show. She didn't get hamper for her children for Christmas. She was all mechanic. She had nothing for them. And Ken Otzes phoned in the station and said, I work at Red Cross. Anybody who wants to drop things off, bring them here this morning, and we'll get them to the family. And I went there. And as soon as I walked in the door, he says, I'm taking out Orville Santa. I like the rest of council, but I'm taking him out.
And that wasn't today.
And no, and I said, I don't know what your problem is, but whatever. And he said, December 24th, I'm taking him out. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay, one more question. In regards to this conspiracy between Brian McRae, Gary Henry, and Harold Bush. Now, I'm trying to look at the hierarchy here. Obviously, Brian McRae is the city manager. He's at the top. So based on what you're saying, and you're telling me that you have proof that this definitely happened,
well,
these three people got together. And I guess I'm looking at Gary Henry as the poor guy maybe caught in the middle of the
solid.
He's told by Brian McRae not to notify the insurance.
Now let me clarify that. When I talk about conspiracy, when you talk about conspiracy, it doesn't have to be a criminal conspiracy. It can just be a conspiracy. People get together, conspire to go to a dual source or a single source. That's a conspiracy. It doesn't mean it's illegal. It doesn't mean it's criminal. It may be unlawful. In this case, Section 337 of the Criminal Code states that you are in breach of trust when you withhold a benefit from somebody who's entitled to it. All members of administration have a fiduciary relationship with us. It's a position of trust, much like you would have with the policemen who are here tonight. It's a position of trust. You have to trust them. They owe you. They are responsible for your well-being when you're on the streets and when they are called to enact their duties, okay? The corporation, the clerk's office, the manager, the risk management, they are in a position of trust. We're councillors going, we're vulnerable, and what the democratic process wants is the councillors to be sacred cows, to be able to speak freely, move freely, do anything they want on your behalf. If you hinder a councillor from accessing information or speaking, then they can't represent you.
I understand that part. I just want to kind of picture this, you know, Henry and these three people sitting there, and I'm trying to say, we're, you know, keep this a secret. Is that what I'm understanding?
It's not a secret. I'm just telling you not to go ahead and let Councillor Santa know he has coverage. Go back to your office and do your work. Simple.
One final thing. And I guess the issue I have here is in regards to Gary Henry. Now, whether or not this whole conspiracy took place or not. And I was at the last council meeting when the motion was on the floor to get rid of that position, put it under the new city solicitor.
Right. That's coming.
Now, I guess my question here is, are you now, I see the issue you have with Gary Henry.
Yeah, and several other people.
Okay, but let's take Gary Henry in the equation here, and not that position, because I really think that there's a need. I mean, where health and safety is going here now, we certainly need somebody in that position. I'm a little leery of saying, let's get rid of Gary Henry because there's this conspiracy issue here. Let's look at the individual, not the position.
Excuse me, sir. I would like you to understand this one thing. Although I may have some things that I would like to deal with on a personal nature, I assure you that anything I do on behalf of the corporation is for the good of the corporation. If I thought that position should still exist, I would say turf Gary Henry and put somebody else in it.